Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. We chant first two verses. Vedo nityamadhiyatam taduditam karmasvanushtiyatam tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitihi kame matistyajatam apaughad paridhuyatam bhavasukhe doshonusandhiyatam atmecha vyavasiyatam nijaghat Purnam Vinedamyatam Sangha Satsu Vidhiyatam Bhakto Bhaktir Dridhadriyatam Shantyadi Parachiyatam Vidataram Paramashi Santyajyatam Sadvidvan Vasrupyatam Pratidinam Tatpaduka sevyatam Brahmaikaksharamadhyatam Shrutishivo Vakyam Samakarnyatam. So in 40 spiritual hacks for happiness, we have covered 16 so far. 8 in first verse, 8 in second verse. So that way it is 16. We don't have 16 in verse 1. So this is the summary. How much are we following daily, that is up to us. These are all practical tips to apply. Study daily, perform the daily duties, dedicate the actions to the Supreme, renounce the craving for pleasure, drop agitation and guilt, and the action which cause these. Reflect upon limitation of sense enjoyments, intensify the desire to know the truth, and get out of the attachments. First verse covered this much. Second verse said, seek the company of the positive and the wise people, strengthen devotion to the Lord, cultivate virtues like Shanti, etc. Drop all negative karmas, seek a Sadguru, serve the Sadguru, ask about the Supreme and meditate on Om, and then listen to the Upanishads and the mahavakyas. So, 16 tips here, and we saw last time about the main sadhana. So in Vedanta there is a preparatory sadhana and the main sadhana. So till instruction number 15 is the preparatory sadhana. To make the mind available to listen, so that it is not preoccupied with the things in the world about oneself. It is not preoccupied with regrets or any anxieties. It's available in the present to listen with single-pointedness, with openness, with eagerness. And what does it have to listen? Listen to the Shruti Shira, meaning the Upanishads, the head, the essence of the Vedic knowledge, which tells us about who am I, which tells us about the essential oneness of the world, the individual and the Lord. Those statements which express this oneness, they are called as the mahavakyas. A vakya by itself means a statement. But a mahavakya is that which reveals that oneness, that our true nature is consciousness, which is the essential nature of this world and the Lord. So, this mahavakyas should not be taken literally. Suppose they say Tattvamasi, you are that. it is not to be taken literally, it is to be taken in the indicative meaning of that. Literal meaning, if one takes that, how can I be one with God? Literally, it is not possible. God is Sarvagnya, He is all knowing, He is all pervading, He is all powerful. I am such a tiny little one individual. How can I be one with God? So literally it is not possible. But the suggestive meaning, the indicative meaning is that your true nature is consciousness, which is the nature of the Lord. Like a wave cannot be one with the ocean. Wave is small, ocean is vast. But essentially as water, the wave and the ocean are one. So there one has taken the indicative meaning. So we will come to that. But important is even to listen to the mahavakyas and to determine the essence, like what we saw earlier. Listening means to determine the essence. To determine the essence that what is this mahavakya trying to tell. And then to reflect upon it, that's the next step. So there are many mahavakyas actually. Any statement that reveals the oneness is called as a mahavakya. Different Upanishads have different mahavakyas. But most popular ones are 4. One from each Veda. And so here we have, Gurudev used to tell a very nice story. You will listen to it also in some time. Just as a memory aid, he used to tell a nice story to remember these 4 mahavakyas. So the first mahavakya is Prajnanam Brahma. So it is called as Adesha Vakya. It is a definition of the truth. Prajnanam Brahma means this whole world is pervaded by consciousness. Prajnanam is consciousness. Brahma is the substratum of this whole world. Meaning, from where did this world come? What is the root cause of this universe? Is it some inert matter or is it consciousness? So physics went into quantum physics because of this difference. In physics they believe the matter is the cause of the universe. Quantum physics they believe consciousness is the cause of the whole universe. So even in science that is the inquiry. The Vedic masters did that inquiry and concluded that. They declared that the whole world is pervaded by consciousness. Like we can say that all the electrical appliances are pervaded by electricity. Now if one is expressing heat and one is expressing light and one is expressing music, that is dependent on the equipment. So some are living beings, some are non-living beings. That depends on the equipment whether it is able to express consciousness as response or not, as life or not. But it exists, it is. If mind is introduced into the inert things, it will also be able to respond like us. So the Adesha Vakya is Prajnanam Brahma. This is in the Aitareya Upanishad from the Rig Veda. Meaning consciousness is Brahman. See, each Mahavakya by itself is enough to realize the truth. We don't require 4. One, meditate on one and one can know the truth. But here 4 are chosen because in the earlier days each one used to follow one particular Veda and live those instructions there. You can't live everything. So for that person, what is the Mahavakya of that particular Veda? The person will utilize that, meditate and know the truth. Somebody is following Rig Veda, somebody Yajurveda, somebody Samaveda, somebody Atharvaveda. So that way one Mahavakya was chosen as the main one from each Veda. So this is a definition of truth, that consciousness is Brahman and it pervades this whole universe. Second is called Upadesha Vakya, Tat Tvam Asi. This is the most famous one. That thou art, from Chandogya Upanishad 6th chapter. And it is the initiation of the student by the teacher. As though the teacher has initiated the student into the self-knowledge that you are that. Not that there is some consciousness which is pervading the whole universe. What do I have to do with it? No, you are that. Tat Tvam Asi. You are not this body, mind and intellect. That's just an equipment, a role that you are playing. Then the student goes and experiences, sits and contemplates and comes to experience. I am Atma Brahma. This Atma is that Brahman. The self in me is the self in all. So that is called anubhavakya. This is the experiential statement. This is in the Mandukya Upanishad in Atharva Veda. This is a direct experience of the student. And then he comes to the teacher and declares it. Anusandhana Vakya. He says, yes, I am that Brahman. So Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. That is in the Yajurveda. So 4 mahavakyas. And these 4 mahavakyas, each of them can be contemplated upon to know the absolute truth. Entire study of the Vedas, that chart that I gave you in the beginning, that entire chart, the study of all those books, etc., is to prepare oneself to experience this Mahavakya. I would say our whole life actually is a preparation to experience this truth. The lesser the ego, the greater the receptivity to this self-knowledge. And so whether it is my work, my relationship, the achievements, whatever I am doing in this world, is actually to tune up my mind to wake up to my own true self. Hence, a lot of importance is given to listening, reflecting, contemplating in Vedanta, because that's the direct means to liberation, to know who am I. Other sadhanas, when it is done properly, consistently, prepare us for it. So if one has to give importance, there must be an importance to the preparatory sadhana, there is no doubt. But there must be more importance to this main sadhana, to listen again and again and again. Because this truth is subtle, not very easy to understand. So one more keeps listening and trying to understand why these Upanishads are saying, these mahavakyas, that how am I this consciousness and not this body, mind and intellect. Many people don't give enough importance to listening. You say, what happened just by listening? Tell us something to do. You tell them do 108 times japa, that is too much. So doing also difficult, listening also difficult. One must identify one sadhana to prepare the mind, be consistent in it, keep doing it. And how will you know whether you are progressing in that sadhana or not? How effective is my listening? How much I am able to identify with that? These mahavakyas, when we listen to the mahavakyas. So one of the tests of spiritual growth is go and listen to the mahavakyas and see whether it is going bouncer or it is that you are able to face it, and when the preparation is ready you can hit a 6 also with the bouncer. It will be like that. So one has to keep testing that. Keep on listening to Vedantic knowledge. Clarity will increase. And also other 2 steps, reflection and contemplation. So now we will come to that aspect. So you will watch this video of Gurudev. This is again from same Sadhana Panchkam. Last time we saw the clip on Tatpaduka Sevyatam. Now you will see this clip on this Vakyarthascha Vicharyatam. Very nice, this is the 4 mahavakyas.
Who are teaching in the various Gurukulas, who are teaching this to our Hindu children, they summarize the Indian philosophy in 4 mighty declarations. And these declarations were taken one statement from each of the Vedas. One tiny expression of 3 or 4 words. Yeah. And they said that these 4 statements, each one taken from one different Veda, these 4 statements summarize the entire philosophy of Hinduism, the entire vision of the rishis. Now, four statements, it must be very difficult for you to remember. Four items to remember nowadays of your job. Four items, if you want to purchase, you go to the bazaar, there you stand there and say, "Padani, kyun aaya yahan?" I don't know what I wanted to purchase. Can you tell me? Why I came here? This is the way of government is very important. So to make you remember the four, I know it's difficult for you, but you have to remember it. So it's my duty now to see that these four are nailed to your head. But for that your head must be available. That is, if you cooperate, it is not very difficult to understand these four mahavakyas. Mahavakya meaning, don't say commandment. Because if you say commandment contains nothing, but there are little moral values only. Not the serenity and beauty of philosophical sublimity as the Hindu mahavakyas are. So mahavakya must be translated as the great statements of supreme implication, suggestive, right? Now it is easier for you to remember it if I weave around it a dramatic scenario. Because the stories you remember, pictures. Don't you remember the picture that you saw last year? I always remember. It's not difficult at all. But it's only the useful things I can never remember. A great student, having studied at all, but he is not satisfied by his study. He goes to his teacher in the Himalayas. I said the teacher in the Himalayas because that is a teacher who has dedicated himself for research. He has nothing to do with the world outside. He is there in his laboratory, constantly doing research upon this great state of consciousness. He has come into all from the world. Just as a research scholar today, early morning 7 to night 9, he is in the laboratory. And his family is unhappy, his wife is miserable, children, he doesn't remember how many are there, he is not interested in it at all. He is only single-pointed mind, love. That's called a research student. Such a research scholars should never marry. And they don't, honestly. But they get to marry. Because the girl's father comes and hangs it on him. And he doesn't want even to protest against it, because to protest means take the mind away from the laboratory. So he said, okay, that also is on my shoulders, okay. That's it. Unless the lady has got that attitude, understanding, he can never respect it, because he never cares. The extreme case that I have heard is, there is a scholar, and his mother is seriously ill, and therefore the wife phones him up. Doctor has come, and doctor said it may be another 2 hours. And the mother said, please come. So, okay, I'm coming. He put the phone down, and the moment he put the phone down, he forgot about it, because he has plunged into his research. After 2 hours, the lady again told us, "Oh, mother has expired, and I have called the priest, and the priests are coming." He said, "Okay, priest will be coming, and the box I have already ordered, so and so, please contact him, and he will come, and you get ready, I am coming." It's not that he has no devotion to the mother. He put the word, but his mind again went to his research. The lady after 2 hours again phoned up saying that all the functions are over, all the friends have arrived, we are taking the procession to the place where it is to be rested. He said, okay, now that you have started, I don't want to come there and disturb you. When you are crossing the university, I will join, because you have to go by that way. And he forgot all about it. The lady went there, everybody was asking, where is the professor, where is the professor? She is very ashamed to say that he has not come. He will be coming, he will be coming. And somehow they finished the function, and she was going home at that time, at the university gate. She turned inside, she went to the lab, and you can understand that woman, how she will approach that man. Everybody knows it under these circumstances, and she's right. So it was boiling, and she entered the laboratory. But she couldn't say a word. Well, he was sitting there, bent on his research, and every cell in his body is showing the sincerity of his self-application. And from the backside view itself, she said, I can't say a word to that rascal. So he deserves it, but I can't say this. So she's begging. Now, a lady who has got that much of feeling, and she could not express it, what happened? Comes out. That anger comes out as tears. So she stood near the laboratory, near the table. But the man never lifted his eyes. He thought that must be one of the laboratory boys. I don't know what the devil he is standing there for. Never mind. He doesn't want even the mind to go there. He was blind. It's at that time she started weeping. These tears were falling, unfortunately, on a piece of paper on the table. So in that silence of the laboratory, tap, 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 the drops are falling. That disturbed him, and therefore he looked at her. Water falling. So he wanted to know the source of it, and he saw. He saw what? Tears. He said, he ran inside. Brought two beautifully cleaned test tubes. Honey, you are the only one who helps me when I want it badly. I wanted in my experiment the composition of tears. And you are here, ready at that time. Thank you very much. He has forgotten his mother, the tragedy at home, and why she is crying. And she is crying, therefore you must sympathize her. He is hiding on the ground. The work that he is doing. And if the tears are one day, and she is weeping, I am obliged to her that she is weeping for my need. This is the condition of a single-pointed mind. Now these teachers in their laboratories is not a taxpayer's money. He wants only a quiet. On the right-hand back the gauges, between 5 and 10,000 feet altitude, they generally put a simple, humble hut and contribute to that teacher's place. Searching for such a teacher, the student in his hunger to know his great truth used to make a pilgrimage. When he reaches there, the master is lost in contemplation in the higher state of consciousness. Supposing, my friend, you are come to me as a friend, and when you reach there, I was sleeping. Would you say, hey, get up? You will never. Because you have got devotion, love for me, and therefore, don't be sleeping. I will wait. Isn't it? In the same way, when the master is in that higher state of consciousness, the student never disturbs him, but waits. When the teacher comes down to the normal level and recognizes the boy that's standing, the boy prostrates. The teacher asks, yes, how can I help you? What do you want? What can the student ask? Sir, what is God? That reality. I've read books, but I couldn't understand. What is God? The definition of truth. The teacher answers him with the simplest truth ever. Prajnanam Brahma. The substratum for the whole universe is prajnanam, consciousness. Consciousness is that which is the common denominator in all of us, just as the ocean is the common denominator in all beings. Gold is the common denominator in all ornaments. God, which is everywhere present, is consciousness. Prajnanam Brahma. Definition of truth. The first great mahavakyas, the great statement. And seeing that, the teacher goes back again to his state of contemplation. The student prostrates and goes to the Ganges banks. Out of the simple branches and twigs that are there, he makes a small little hut meant for him to sleep in the night, and sits in the Ganges banks and analyzes. What did the teacher say? He said consciousness is God. If you and I today go to a teacher and then the teacher said consciousness is God, Father, I asked such an intelligent question, the fellow just said God and gone. Those students know that the teachers will not say a word in vain. So he analyzes, intelligently analyzes. What is its significance? Consciousness is God. I am alive when I am conscious. When I am dead, the dead body is not conscious of anything. This consciousness, in varying degrees, is present in all living beings. The plant is conscious of water vapor and sunlight. The animal is conscious of its own little ones, conscious of many things. The human beings are maximum conscious. Consciousness is everywhere. All living beings are consciousness. Where there is consciousness, there is no life. That is why God is all pervading. He is the eliminer of everything. Because once the consciousness is not there, the body cannot move at all. So the body was moving because of consciousness. Oh, he is Jagadishwara, the Lord of the entire world of change. Now I understand. I see that consciousness is God. Because all of them have an idea that God is. Where is God? Above the clouds, safely away from us. We have exiled him because we know that if he is here, it's a terrible difficulty. We can't do many things that we are doing because he is here. So, the student intellectually understands that God is consciousness. Having thus understood, maybe he has taken 2 years or 3 years, 2 months or 3 months probably to think over and analyze and understand independently. He comes back again to the teacher. The teacher says, what can I do now? Sir, you told me that Prajnanam Brahma, consciousness is God. I have analyzed and understood that consciousness is in all living beings. Where there is no consciousness, is dead and inert. So he is the one who is the sole Lord of all these universe. He is ever present everywhere because he is in everyone. He understands everything because it is a consciousness by which I understand what I understand and you understand what you understand because of consciousness. So consciousness is one everywhere and therefore he is the one who is knowing everything that is happening in every head or intellect. Yeah. Understood, sir? That consciousness is God. Because intellectually you can understand objectively. That consciousness. The teacher smiles. This is right. This is the only way you can understand. Now the teacher advises that thou art. That tvam asi. That thou art. That means that God whom you understood as the one infinite consciousness everywhere, present everywhere, that consciousness is you. Okay? If you and I were there and the teacher said that, we would have said, Father, पता नहीं ये क्यों ऐसे बैठा हुआ है, useless fellow, cranky. How can I be that? I am me. I am that. Hinduism is mad. Religion is mad. I am religion. I am Russian. Intelligent student, Australian. He goes back again and he analyzed what this consciousness in me, because of which I am conscious of what I see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Again I am conscious of my feelings. Again I am conscious of all my thoughts. All thoughts and emotions and perceptions are all objects of consciousness. This consciousness is one everywhere. That is God. And the teacher said that thou art. That Thomas. Therefore, I am not what I am now thinking. Today I think that I am the body or the mind or the intellect, the physical, mental and intellectual personality. No, my teacher told me that that consciousness is you. He goes to his seat of contemplation, meditation. If I am that, I am not this. So he starts withdrawing himself from the physical body, his emotions, his intellectual thinking. Then he holds all these activities, wanting to know what is that consciousness. Because my teacher said that I am that. The student in the seat of meditation comes to experience. I am Atma Brahma. This Atman, the self, this state in which I am as my pure consciousness, the consciousness in me is Brahman, the consciousness everywhere present. When he detaches from the pure mind, I plug out. The bulb is no light, the heater is no heat, the radio is no noise, because I plug it out. And having plugged it out, if I insert, plug my fingers into the plug, I will immediately experience not only the electricity in the plug, but this electricity is all electricity all over, isn't it? Afterwards, if you go to China, do you want to see Chinese electricity? What is it? Once you have got a really good shop, you understand that this is the electricity everywhere in the same way. Once I have reached this state, the student in his own experience, he experiences, I am Atma, this state in which I am. This pure state of consciousness in me is the one consciousness everywhere present. If you go to India, the mithai shop, the sweet meat shop, honey, you need not eat. पंडित जी क्या ज्यादा सादा है क्या? Is it new? And no Pandit has ever born who will say that no, it is old. Then you show your hand. You don't say anything, you show your hand. The Pandit will take quarter or 1/8 of a laddu and he will do that. Now you have got Mr. John, who is your friend from America, coming. And you have already told him that Americans don't know how to eat sweets. The Indian sweets are the real sweets. Yours is only manufactured sweetness, useless. Chocolate and all that useless. And that real, the king of all sweets is called laddu. And he has written it in his handbook, pocket book also. L-A-D-U. Laddu, laddu, laddu. He has learned the laddu. John, this is called laddu. But this is laddu. Yeah. And out of that small quantity, John. And when John gets that, he immediately takes his dirty kerchief and he rubs it. Why? Because Indian, is dirty. So to clean it, he cleans it with his dirty kerchief. Puts it into his mouth. When that tiny wee bit of a laddu, when it is on that tongue, delicious. It's beautiful, great. What is he tasting? He is not tasting that laddu, that little part, but he is tasting in his mouth all the laddus that were ever made from the first pioneer wood. All the laddus that are available in every sweet meat shop he is eating. And he is also eating all the laddus that will be ever made on the surface of the globe, isn't it? Because the laddu is one the same. In the same way, when that man experiences that state, he is experiencing the infinite one pure state of consciousness everywhere present. I am Atma Brahma. This is called mahavakyas. The experience, actual direct experience of the student or the state of Godhood. After having that experience, when he comes down, he out of gratitude, till now I thought that I am a limited creature. Oh, now I understood what a great and grand idea is this wondrous state of Godhood. He is grateful to the teacher. He runs to the teacher. Prostrates to him. The teacher looks at his face and understands. Oh yeah, the fellow has got it. Because he's a relaxed, joyous, bubbling with joy is every cell in his body. So then the teacher just asks, now what? Abhigya. Students, he didn't know how to express it now. He can't say that. So he looks down in shame and he declares, I who thought myself to be the limited entity, I am Brahman. I don't exist anymore. God alone exists. That higher state of consciousness is my nature. You told me that the one. I have experienced that I am that. There's the fourth. The first is definition of truth. Prajnana Brahma, consciousness is truth. The second is the Upadeshavakya. The teacher initiates him by saying that reality which you have understood intellectually is your nature. The student knows it, sits down in the interpretation seat and directly experiences. I am a Brahman. This state in which I am is that Brahman reality. When he comes back to the teacher, he thunders forth his assertion that I who thought myself to be the limited individual, helpless, hapless, hopeless, hello, I have awakened now to know that the God alone is, not me, the stupid one. The dreamer cries out, I am not the dreamer anymore, I am the waiter. These are called the four mahavakyas, the greatest.
So any doubts in these four? Yes?
Can you explain the difference between the third and the fourth?
So the third one is the student withdrawing from the body, mind, intellect and coming to understand that, oh, this Atma is that Brahman, which I thought so long as this individual. Actually, I am not this individual, I am that Brahman. The Atma is that Brahman. I am Atma Brahman. So the experience actually is Aham Brahmasmi only. But because there are two different mahavakyas, Gurudev has connected it that way, that he goes to the teacher and then explains to him that yes, now I have realized that I am that Brahman. In experience, there is no difference in all the four actually. Even a student who contemplates on Prajnanam Brahma will actually realize Aham Brahmasmi only. But as he said, no, it is just to remember these four that he made this whole story. It is not that Prajnanam Brahma is first stage, then this Tattvamasi, then I am Atma Brahma, and then Aham Brahmasmi. They are not four stages. It's just in the story that he mentioned this.
Swamiji, in that example which Gurudev gave about the dead body, when there is no consciousness in the dead body, so if the consciousness is all pervading, in that dead body, what is there? Like what
Existence. So the nature of consciousness, to understand it, is isness, consciousness and bliss. So existence, consciousness and bliss. Sat, Chit and Anand. Now Chit and Anand can be experienced by somebody only when there is subtle body, the mind and the intellect. In the dead body, that mind and intellect has gone out. So it's like the filament of that bulb goes, it fuses. Even if electricity is passed through that, light will not come. Electricity is still there, but the equipment is not capable anymore now. Same way. The mind and intellect have ejected out of the body, so the mind and intellect is not there, so the body is not capable of expressing life as we understand the expression. Seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, all that it cannot do. But it is, the existence is, it's there. In this Chinmay Pradeep that we are making, the Vision Park around Swamiji's Kutia in Powai, we have a very unique thing which maybe it is there in India or not, I don't know, but very few places even if it is there. We are making 4 temples of these 4 mahavakyas. So each mahavakya is 1 temple. So that people understand. This is the knowledge that he learned from Swami Tapovan, and this is the knowledge of the Guru Parampara. So where we show the Guru Shishya Parampara and how he is learned from Swami Tapovan. So there, just behind Tapovan Maharaj statue, there are these 4 temples which are coming up. So when you enter Prajnanam Brahma, the first temple, you will see lots of cut-out mobiles, plants, birds, animals, and creatures which are below the earth, creatures which are on the earth, creatures who are above the earth. So in that way you will see the gradation of all the creatures. And there is a play of light which is going around the whole thing. Just to make one aware that inert and sentient, everything is pervaded by consciousness. In the second temple when you go, that is Tattvamasi. So there is a mirror maze. So you go inside and you will see yourself everywhere. That you are that all-pervading consciousness, Tattvamasi. In the third one you go, there is a stereogram of Om, I am Atma Brahma. Through that you understand my nature is Om. So you stare at it and you will see the 3D Om coming out of it. Otherwise the stereogram is all design patterns. It will look like some hazy pattern. You have to look at it carefully. And the fourth one is a sphere with different play of light inside it, and you will experience no boundaries. Because Brahman means that which has no boundaries. So Aham Brahmasmi. And very soon in May you will experience all this. Because the park is getting inaugurated in May, in third week of May sometime. So these are 4 mahavakyas. A student whose mind is ready will experience the truth then and there, as the teacher is revealing it. But the student whose mind is not yet ready has to reflect and contemplate. So the next one, the third verse of the Sadhana Panchkam, explains about the Manan Sadhana and Nididhyasan Sadhana. So let's chant that. वाक्यार्थश्च विचार्यताम् श्रुतिशिरो पक्षसमाश्रीयताम् दुस्तर्कात् सुविरम्यताम् श्रुतिमतः तर्कोऽनुसन्धीयताम् ब्रह्मास्मीति विभाव्यताम् अहरः गर्वपरित्यज्यताम् देहेऽहं मतिरुज्यताम् बुधजनैः वादपरित्यज्यताम्. So it says Vakyarthascha vicharyatam. Reflect upon the indicative meaning of these mahavakyas. So we will come to this sadhana of reflection. What is the meaning of reflecting? So using Shrutishirha Paksha Samashriyatam, using scriptural logic to clear our doubts. Because when we listen to this mahavakya that you are that, naturally doubts are going to arise that how can I be that? In the story, Gurudev explained how the student went and reflected on his own, and then he understood, and then he came to the teacher. So the line of thinking that one has to use, the logic, there is a specific way of using that logic. Because logic is a double-edged sword. You can use it either ways, to prove something and disprove something. Logic can be used. It makes no difference if I use it whichever way. It can harm also sometimes. So I must know which way to use it. Otherwise I will not feel the difference. I will not understand that my nature is consciousness. So he says, Shruti Shira Vakyam, Shruti Matas Tarkonu Sandhiyatam. Go by the logic given in the scriptures. I will come more detail about this. First the importance of reflecting, then we will come to logic. So why is reflection important? In our culture it is said that learning happens always in 4 stages. Acharya Padam Adatte. 25% of learning happens by listening. Padam Shishya Swamedhaya. Next 25% happens by one's own reflection, one's own thinking, analysis. And transformation of that false knowledge into the real conviction, or no knowledge into conviction. Third, it happens when Padam Sa Brahmacharibhya, when we discuss with the co-seekers, other fellow students. Because our thinking may have some limitation. We may not be able to see it from all angles. Somebody may be able to see it from some other angle. So the discussion always helps. And Pada Kala Kramenacha. Last 25% happens in time by experience. So these are 4 stages of learning. And remember, this is meant for somebody who is still preparing. For the student who is prepared, the knowledge is straight, instant, as far as self-knowledge is concerned. Hence the second and the third step, reflecting by oneself and then reflecting with people is very important. So Gurudev started this study groups for that purpose. In the Jnana Yajna or in a camp or in these classes, one listens to the truth and the knowledge. Then one is supposed to reflect on one's own. And then in the study group, discuss with other people. And in time, the knowledge will become firm. So the job of this reflection is to give me intellectual conviction. And my job here is to be able to drop my old false ideas. That is my active participation in the discussion. And ability to let go of the false notions. Otherwise, we can hold on to the false notion and go on arguing. Leads nowhere. So the discussion must help me to gain more and more intellectual conviction. How to discuss, how to use logic, we will see now. So, Shruti Shira, Paksha Samashriyatam and Shrutimata Tarkonu Sandhiyatam. These two statements are very important. Listen to the declaration of the scripture and follow the logic of the scripture. Now, why do I need to follow the logic of the scripture? One is because it is devoid of intellectual vanity. It is not a person's opinion. So it is not that somebody's opinion that you are listening to. It is a time-tested collective wisdom. Like how we would say that if you want to know about science, then what will you read? The books of the scientists. Science is a collective wisdom of so many people who have put in their minds and then come to certain universal truths. Law of gravity or electromagnetism or whatever it is. These are universal principles, collective wisdom. Scripture is a collective wisdom. It may be that especially the Shrutis, the Vedas, we saw that they are the revealed texts. They are not written by one person. In quiet moments, different masters have experienced the same truth. So there is a verification, validity, all that has happened. So what is reflection actually? Yukti bhi anuchintanam. Continuously using logic, one should reflect upon these truths. So now we will see some examples of how reflection is done. So there are 3 steps in reflection. Pratigna means the statement which is to be proved, or it is called literally, it means the promise. It's a declaration. Now that declaration, it is not that because it is declared I should believe. That's the glory of Hindu culture, is you have all rights to question and not believe. The authoritarian attitude is not that just because it is said in the scripture you have to believe. Unfortunately, that has come about in our culture. But that is alien to our culture. That's not our culture. All the scriptures have questions and answers. Until you don't understand, you go on asking the questions. And the teacher patiently replies. That's the culture. So pratigna means a declaration that must be supported by logic. In simple definition, logic means cause and effect. Relationship of cause and effect is called logic. And then is there a direct proof? Experiential proof. I may not be experiencing it, but in the world there may be people who have experienced it. So is there an experiential proof? If these two are positive, logic also supports, experience also supports, then that declaration has been proved. Then the next step is I must change my conviction. What happens to us many times is the statement is there, we don't use logic properly sometimes. So it remains half-baked. Experiential proof one doesn't get, one doesn't attempt. So the knowledge remains at superficial level. And in case it has gone through all the 3 steps, I am still attached to my old ways of living. So I am not ready to give that habit up. That's why the 3rd step of contemplation is important. So in reflection, I must be willing to drop my false notions, what I consider as true. So if for so long I have lived thinking this body is me, and now I am convinced that this is not me, I should be happy to drop that notion that I am this body. So I am giving simple example now. The declaration in the scripture is happiness is not in the object. Now what is the logic? Yes, if happiness was in the object, the same object would have given happiness to all people. That is not seen. Or the same person also would always experience happiness whenever the person contacts it. That is also not happening. Hence the happiness is not in the object. Is this logically sound or not? Can this be contradicted? So uncontradicted logic is what it is. And what is the experiential proof of it? I have given just one example. Some people may not like it, but it is an example. Bangan ka bharta. Some people like bangan ka bharta, some people don't like bangan ka bharta. You can take it for anything, chocolate, ice cream, whatever. Mobile, gadget, car, people, whatever, anything in the object. Some people like, some people don't like. So experientially one sees that yes, it is not there. So what we are going to do now, next 20 minutes, is we will form groups. And each group will be given one such declaration, and you have to come up with the logic and the experiential proof to prove it. If you feel you don't agree with it, you can give your logic for that also. And we will see what to do after that. Okay? So, quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have to say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, it will go like that. And then we form the groups.
2, 3, 4, 5.
2, 3,
4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
1,
2,
3,
4, 5,
1,
3, 4, 5,
1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
1, 2, 3,
4, 5,
1, 2, 3,
4, 5,
1, 2, 3.
Your topic will be happiness is my nature. Group 2, world is an illusion. Group 3, God exists. Group 4, I am not this body. And group 5, I am not this individuality or ego. You have to prove this with logic and with experience, both. And as I said, if anybody disagrees in the group, no problem. They also have to prove with logic and experience, both. Right?
You have to come prepared with this? Or
Yes, you do your research, come prepared with this so that in the discussion, in the group discussion, you will have only 10 minutes. Max 10 minutes. And these topics, if I give you 10 minutes without preparation, it will all go 6 7. So might as well we come do our research and come back and then discuss here in 10 minutes and conclude. Right. So before I conclude, I have an announcement to make, and that is that this week we are going to celebrate Ram Navami. There are 2 days when we are celebrating Ram Navami. So one is on 12th April. So this is, the main day is on 15th April. Looks very small, but I'm just going to read it out. So 15th April, 11 a.m. to 12:45 at Chinmay Sagar Church Gate. That's the Tithi day of Gurudev's birthday. Gurudev was born on Ram Navami day in 1916. So that is the Tithi birthday, 100th birthday of Gurudev on 15th April, Friday. And there will be puja, there will be some bhajans and Ram Janma Utsav also will be there on that day. This is on 15th April. Please welcome everyone. And then on 12th, we have a session, why did Ram do so? Lots of questions people have about why did Ram do this, why did Ram do that, why did he send Sita away, why did he not return to Ayodhya, so many things. So Brahmachari Nidhi Chaitanya will be doing this from 10:15 a.m. to 1 p.m. There is a quiz, there is a talk, and there are some question answers and informal discussion. So the quiz is based on Kishkindha Kand and Sundar Kand. This Kamala Subramaniam's book, the Devi group ladies have been reading. Every year we have been doing 1 or 2 chapters. They read and then there's some activity or quiz, anything based on that. So this will also be there. So both these programs, this program is here. Sorry, this program is at Prempuri. This 12th program is at Prempuri and 15th is at Panchashir. So you are welcome to participate in both. And the third program which we have is on May 8th. This is most important. 8th May 2016 is the 100th birthday and luckily it happens to be a Sunday. So we are doing 2 very unique things. One is we are doing Pratima Abhishek of Gurudev to express our love and gratitude for all the knowledge we have received from him. We are going to do an Abhishek. So you are welcome to participate in this Abhishek. And also we will be doing Chinmay Sadhana Mela. So that day there are different sadhanas which are there at different places in the ashram. So there is meditation, there is puja, there is japa, there is puja, then there is quiz, and then there is a spin the wheel, and many things are there, very interesting. To participate in the sadhana mela, you have to read 2 small books. One is a golden sayings, there are 30 quotes of Gurudev, and another is the ageless Guru, that is the life of Gurudev. And based on that, so many nice interactive activities are there. Please do come on that day. We want all the Chinmay family members to come and if possible each one to do an Abhishek. So if you are a family of 4 of you take 1 kalash and go and do Abhishek. Even if you have a certain specific budget constraint, no problem. Within that you can do, there are lots of options available. So even small children, Balbiha children, Yuva Kendra members, elders, everybody can come and do. And let us make this a grand celebration for all that Gurudev did for us. And we have youth camp. May 20th to 22nd is this youth camp. It is called Just Like That. And this